Welcome back. I'm Coach Dave March, here to bring you another video. The name of this one is How to Find Your True Work. Now when it comes to finding your true work, you have to understand yourself first and foremost. There was a Swiss psychologist named Carl Jung, and he said, the self is infinite and full of untapped potential. It contains all the unconscious aspects of the psyche and the conscious aspects of it too. So there's a lot to uncover. It's important to understand yourself as an individual, separate from the collective society, then reintegrate back into society once you can get the understanding of yourself. This way, you can more easily find your place in society and find your dream career. Individual self is special because it's where your innovation and creativity comes from when being applied to a group. It's also the storehouse of your strengths and positive character traits. Knowing yourself becomes an integrating starting point for knowing all others. It can hint to how you can provide value and benefit to others. In many cases, I believe our individual self is hidden behind a mask we wear for society. Carl Jung would call this mask a persona, and at times this mask gets stuck in our lives. It becomes difficult to take off and reveal your authentic self. The Jungarian concept was referenced in the movie The Mask, which stars Jim Carrey. It offered an interesting imagery on how it could be portrayed. However, it's counterintuitive the way I understand it. In the movie, Jim Carrey's character was conservative, shy, and kept to himself. Once he put on the mask, he was just the opposite. It released him. It showed his wild side, made him risky, fearless, and able to talk to anyone. Effectively, the mask was releasing his inhibitions, and he became a crazed madman. Now, masks serve many purposes. Most importantly, they conceal. I believe the persona or mask we wear for collective society conceals our true individual self. Most of the time this is done because you don't want to be hurt. Following the structure and dynamics of the psyche by Carl Jung, the persona serves as that first layer, protecting our actual self. Where Jung would say the ultimate goal is to achieve a state of selfhood or individualization. Maslow also called this self-actualization. However, at times we lose ourselves in the mask we show to others. When this happens, what we need is to recapture our own individual self and dig deeper. Like a precious mineral under bedrock, it takes careful mining and digging within you to become conscious of the persona from the individual self, finding each jewel in its own right. The process of this, when looking within, could look like dropping friends that don't serve you, fighting inner dragons within you, or going through the pain necessary to ask oneself critical questions pertaining to what makes you happy. By going through this reflection process, you'll rediscover the work that is meaningful to you. To assist in this reflection and individualization process of finding your true work, there are many personality assessments that you could use as mining tools for your reflection. Here is a list that I compiled during my research. The first one is Strength Finders 2.0, a talent assessment from the minds of Donald Clifton, Tom Roth, and a team at Gallup. Second one I have is David Keirsey's Temperament Sorter. Third one is Kathy Kolbe's Instinct Assessment. It's called the Kolbe. And the fourth is MyersBriggs, the MBTI, which was actually created from Carl Jung's work on psychological types. It's important to note that all these assessments are both statistically valid and reliable with more than 20 years and sometimes 40 years of research. This isn't a color test or, something done at random. The authors of these assessments all wanted to initiate a conversation more on what's right with people, moving the conversation away from the field of psychology that we see most often that focuses on disorders, like the one seen in the DSM-4, a manual of disorders. These assessments and their associated descriptions talk about healthy, adapted people, which are all of equal inherent value. I've given the assessments to many of the clients I've worked with, and they've seen a lot of benefit in their own lives. Here I will briefly elaborate on the assessments. Strength Finders 2.0 seeks to identify your top 5 talents in 34 different themes. And to give you a little background on this assessment, during the creation of the assessment, scientists from Gallup mined their database, which at the time contained more than 100,000 talent-based interviews. As they looked through patterns in the data, they found that there were 34 themes of talent that are most common in their database. Over time, the research grew and the themes became more solidified. Second one was David Keirsey. David Keirsey focuses on intelligence and temperament. The interesting thing about David Keirsey's studies was temperament has actually been used over 2,000 years. The original words for temperaments were really uncommon in today's language. He used phlegmatic, sanguine, melancholy, and choleric. And these all match up with the temperaments. So the 4 of them are diplomatic intelligence, which is the idealist temperament, strategic intelligence, which is a rational temperament, the logistical intelligence, which is the guardian temperament, and the tactical intelligence, which is the artisan temperament. David Keirsey was also heavily into the Myers-Briggs assessment and relates each one of these temperaments to a Myers-Briggs type. Now, what's the Myers-Briggs? Using the MBTI, or the Myers-Briggs type indicator, the instrument determines your type code. And through the questions that you answer, it will reveal a type code like ISTJ or ENFP. In summary, the idea behind Myers-Briggs is quite fascinating. Much seemingly random variation in the behavior of people is actually quite orderly and consistent, being due to basic differences in the ways individuals prefer to use their perception and judgment. Perception involves all the way of becoming aware of things, people, happenings, or ideas. Judgment involves all the ways of coming to conclusions about things. So if people differ systematically in what they perceive and how they reach conclusions, then it's only reasonable for them to differ correspondingly in their interests, reactions, values, motivations, and skills. Now, as time passed, Kathy Kolbe got her hands on all these personality theories, and she read them from Jung to Myers to Keirsey. She noticed that all the current theories have something to do with either your emotional or cognitive attitude, either your feeling or your thinking. But no one was talking about what she called the cognitive connection. Cognitive is the doing section of the mind. It drives your modus operandi, your MO. Kathy Kolbe's assessments evaluate your MO and your unique way of striving and taking action. In summation, what you think about and the way you feel about things drives the actions that you take. So the midpoint here is where your thinking and your feeling come together at one point to make the cognitive. Moving forward, the Kolbe gives you your arrangement of these 4 different action modes on a scale of 1 to 10. So your arrangement could be 8, 4, 3, 2, which means 8 on fact finder, 4 on follow through, 3 on quick start, and 2 on implementer. Kathy Kolbe explains these 4 action modes as fact finder, the instinctive need to gather information; follow through, the instinctive need to organize, store, and retrieve information; quick start, the instinctive need to deal with risk or unknowns; and implementer, the instinctive need to deal with space and physical elements like tangibles. To see a full description of all these personality assessments, their main ideas, differences, and similarities, you can see them in my book, Vision in Action. My goal in understanding all these personality theories and general theories on individuality is to help you with your career path. All people have their own career path, and what I like doing is coaching them to continue on their hero's journey towards success, happiness, and fulfillment. I endeavor to help all seekers find out who they are and find out their true work, so that together we can build a better future. You can fill out the personality assessment in my blog, or you can take these ones I've mentioned to start your own self-discovery. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it brings you value and benefit, and there'll be more videos on the way. Adios.